It's it's an accomplishment. I don't know that you take it any further than that, though. We have really important practice tomorrow to get ready for Memphis. Today's our scheduled day off. We have to give them one day off every 7 days. The thing that screws that up a little bit is Sunday. Usually, most teams are playing on Saturdays, so Sunday's a day off. But we're playing on Sunday, so Monday's a day off. I saw the ranking. I kind of thought we had a chance, but you can take that ranking and 75 cents, and you can't get a cup of coffee at McDonald's with it. So, but it is an accomplishment. It's something that we would like to be a standard in our program going forward. That's why we work so hard, and everybody's got a little piece of that. From our trainer to our strength coach to our staff, everybody. But I haven't even talked to the team. Haven't talked to one player. I've been upstairs watching film most of the afternoon. But get ready for Memphis. So for that, it's just the fans. Happy for them. But Corey's been here 6 months, 7 months. So he got ranked his first year. He has no idea that he can't relate. Our kids don't relate to 10 years ago. It's like people bring up our record against Cincinnati. Corey's record is 1-1. They don't understand 30-2 or 101. They don't care about that. But I'm happy for the especially our loyal fans that have been following us. They're stuck with us, and we're stuck with the program. There's been some really good men, really good coaches that's been here. But as far as our kids are concerned, they just know that they started this journey in June, and here we are in February, and they're ranked 24th, so that's good. That's good for them. I just think our culture has kind of caught hold with some of our players. Being a good defensive team is labor intensive for the entire staff. That's why a lot of teams don't play good defense, because you've got to pound the rock every day. And it's not the 101st blow that did it. That when you break the rock, it's all those blows that came before. So, but I didn't think we were that good defensively yesterday. Our breakdowns were egregious in a lot of areas. Some of it's because we're up 30-25, but during the course of a season, you're always going to have slippage. That's why you watch film, and that's why you practice. So, I've got enough edits off that one film against Temple that we've got a lot of things we need to clean up before Thursday. Yeah, we have 4 games left in the season. A lot of our thought process, though, is just getting better in certain areas. I thought our ball movement was really, really good early. That's something that we emphasize. But peaking and trending are words that really don't apply to coaching. It's just a byproduct of doing a lot of things right. But if your team plays the right way, we have a idea of how we'd like for our team to play. And when they play that way, and we compete. There's a big difference in playing hard versus competing. A lot of teams play hard, but not all of them compete. And so we hold our kids to a really high standard in terms of effort. So I focus on that. How do you get your team to peak at the right time? Well, a lot of it's luck. You got to stay healthy. We're all a sprained ankle away from mediocrity in this business, man. So, we've been lucky with that. Then we have kids that are hard workers. I pushed this team pretty hard, even since Thursday. But they respond. But, the credit for all that stuff goes to your seniors. We've got a great group of seniors, Wes and Devin, Nura, Rob. Those 4 guys have set a tone for us every day in practice. Even on days when maybe they didn't have a good game the night before, and we come to practice the next day, they still play hard. They compete in practice. And the other thing is the depth that we have. We just haven't had depth, and that's a byproduct of the first year when we only had 5 guys. You don't just flip your roster over and unless you're the Cavaliers and get really really good. In 6 months, it's a process. It really is. And yeah, second year is really a miracle year that we went from 13 wins to 22 and got to the NIT. That was an unbelievable accomplishment. And last year's team was a great accomplishment too because of the injuries and just not having very much depth. But that's why each year you recruit and you add a layer. The recruiting class we had this past November, gives us a chance to be better next year, and then maybe even be better the following year. But that's what you do when you build programs. It's a process. So I'm excited where we are, but I'm also excited where we're headed. We've accomplished nothing. We're after the game yesterday at Temple. I gave them some attaboys. And it's a good win. It's but you go into every year, hoping you win, thinking you might, and then you start to expect. We went through that with this team. In November, we still had name tags on. We had 8 new players. Everybody looks back and say, well, what about that game? I could care less about that game. We've won some games maybe we shouldn't have won, and we've lost some games that maybe we could have won. But it all evens out at the end. We're playing good basketball right now. But our team's full of role players. That's all they are. Everybody's a role player. The thing that I challenge our kids to be is be all conference in your role. Be the best in your role. For instance, we had to redefine Galen's role this year. It's a different role than he had last year, and it took him a while to embrace it. Rob's role is completely different. If I wish I had a dime for somebody to ask me what's wrong with Rob. Well, what is wrong with Rob? His team's 21-5. He had 7 rebounds yesterday. Had so many great hockey assists that led to assists. I think he's playing really good. The statistic that I focus with Rob is his plus minus. Look at the impact you're having on us winning. That's the part of the game that a lot of kids fail to embrace. I remember sitting in all those staff meetings when I was with the Spurs, for instance. If there's one thing that I learned from them is they evaluate players based on their impact on winning. Do they impact winning? If you're 7 for 21 and you got no assists, you guarding nobody, no rebounds, well, you're playing 6 on 4. But Rob's role has evolved. Breon, Nura, Fabian, all these guys have a role. Corey, Armani, as long as they stay in their lane and embrace their role, and then everybody competes. So we just have to continue doing what we're doing. That's all we're going to do. I thought he really competed hard. A big part of that. We go into every game wanting to have 70 possessions against half-court teams. Hard to do. Really hard to do. I remember when I was a half-court coach, you never could speed us up. We wouldn't let you. There's a lot of ways to slow the game down. For instance, when the other team scored, we let the ball bounce until the referee made us pick it up. What a ball bounced, and what's the clock doing? So, if you want a slow game, you can keep it slow. But for us, we want a fast game. So for us, a big part of that is having 70 possessions a game. Yesterday we had 71, and I give a lot of credit to that to Galen. I know Galen's playing well when he has to come out, because of how hard he pushes it. Now our wings and our bigs, in a broken court, they don't have to. Our bigs, I'd rather they've been behind him. But on made baskets, I expect them to run to the front of the rim, and I expect our wings to run to the corner, so we have spacing, and that gives Galen room to attack. Then he has to make the right play. But yesterday I thought he was really good as a pace point guard. He did a good job with that. Just do what we've been doing. We had each week we look at what's in front of us. We don't really look at what's ahead of us. You know, conference race is, I don't even think about that. Didn't think about it last week. I'm sure not thinking about it this week. Just take care of your business. You know, everything will shake out in the end. You know, we've got Memphis on Thursday, and then we'll come home and play East Carolina on Sunday. So our focus is strictly on what's in front of us. You know, last week it was Cincinnati at home and at Temple. This week it's Memphis on Thursday and East Carolina on Sunday. So, you know, we'll come in and you know, usually after a day off, we'll come in and watch film. We pick a time when everybody has a break in their class schedule. So I think tomorrow morning we'll come in and watch film for 45 minutes as a team and flush the last game. And then, you know, the coaches come in and we'll break it down. I can pick out 10 things that we need to get better at, but I usually focus on 2. So today we chopped down 2 things that we've really got to improve on, and that's what we'll focus on in the film tomorrow. And then tomorrow afternoon it'll strictly be Memphis. So I know that Cincinnati still has to go to Wichita State, but I do know this: if we lose to Memphis, it's a moot point. So why talk about it? But none are more talented, just pure talent, than Jeremiah Martin. You know, Landry Shamet and Shake Milton, Jalen Adams, those guys are, you know, pros. You know, they'll play professional basketball somewhere at some level. But none of those guys are more talented than it's Jeremiah Martin. He's leading the league in scoring, right? You know, and he's a blur. You know, I didn't think we were very good yesterday at stopping the ball in transition. Big key in this game is getting back and loading to the ball. You know, if you run with your man and you think that's your man in transition, we've got to get back and protect the paint. We've got to keep the ball in front of us, and whatever side the ball is on, we've got to make sure we pack the paint so he sees bodies. And then we've got to just pound the boards. You know, rebounding is always a big key for us.